Hey travel advisors, welcome to Classic Vacations custom group website tutorial. If you have groups booked with Classic and you're ready to start building their website, just follow along. I'm going to work with this group here, CGW Tutorial Wedding. Click on the actions and create website. Our new custom group website dashboard gives you a quick snapshot of all the elements required to build a website for your new group booking. But before we get started, let's take a quick look at a sample website. The first element is the name of the group, the date of the event. Next, we have a main image, and then some flexible content blocks. You can customize the image and the text and the number of blocks of content that you'd like on your website. The Wedding Events tab allows you to input the date and time for things like a cocktail party or the actual wedding ceremony. And if you choose to allow your guests to book online, the Book This Trip tab is where they'll find all the booking details for this group. Most importantly, this is where your terms and conditions and cancellation policies come into play. Now that you know what you'll be building, it's time to gather some content. Building a custom group website goes much faster if you have all of the images and text ready to go in one place. I recommend creating a folder on your computer, a Trello board, or possibly even a spreadsheet for each group or each website that you build. Here's the folder that I have here for this website that we'll be building. You can see I've got all of my images saved along with the terms and conditions. If you're wondering what kind of images to use, please note that not all images on the internet, classic vacations, or even hotel websites are free for you to use. To avoid copyright violation and fees that might come as a result, you need to make sure that you have rights to use the images that you place in your custom group website. You can find hotel images easily using hotel image libraries like AM Resorts, it has a media site, Ice Portal, and others. You can also use royalty-free images found on sites like Pexels.com. We'll be using that site today. And then you can always use personal photos. These could be from your own travels or personal photos from the group guests or the wedding couple. Make sure you have images to cover all of the elements we reviewed on the sample site. You'll need a wide horizontal image for the home page. You'll also want a great image of the wedding couple, the birthday girl, or corporate group. It's also nice to include pictures of possibly the room category, the pool, hotel lobby, or other hotel points of interest. And then it's nice to have a handful of generic travel photos like passports and maps to fill in the extra spots on the website. And finally, you'll want to prepare some copy ahead of time so you're not trying to type as you create the site. Most importantly, the terms and conditions. We've got some samples that you can use to guide the way with the terms and conditions, but really this is where you need to spell out for your guests what you require, payments, cancellations, penalties, everything that you need to protect your business. Let's go back to our sample site and practice finding images that we will want to use on our own custom group website. This sample site uses some generic pictures like a passport. If you'd like to include photos like this on your website, I recommend using a royalty-free photo finding site like Pexels.com. This site allows you to download and use any image royalty-free without having to give accreditation. You can see I've searched for passport, and there's quite a few images I could choose from. Let's go ahead and select this one. I simply click download. The image appears here. I'll open the file. I'm going to save it to the folder I've created for this custom group website. Now that I've gathered all my photos and content, I'm ready to start editing and building the custom group website. I'm going to use the checklist here on the left, and I can see right away that I am missing my URL. Over here in the site settings, go ahead and click the URL. And this is where you give a web address for your group. I'm going to call this one Easy Peasy and save it. Next, you'll want to make sure you have an invitation code. This is a code that all guests visiting your website will need to enter to gain access. I'll use the code WELCOME. The next field is to invite an editor. This is optional, and you should only use it if you'd like to allow someone else to have editing privileges on this custom group website. Next up, you can choose a background color for your website. I'm going to pick, let's do Pink Passion. And to complete the settings, I can also play with the theme of this website. I've currently selected wedding. I could also choose vacation or event. You can see in the checklist that I've now completed all of the steps in the site setting, and I'm ready to move on to content and images. The title of this group is CGW Tutorial Wedding. I can change this if I'd like, and the default date will be the start date of your group. Next up, we'll go ahead and add a main image. Click Update Image, choose File. I've already browsed to the folder I created with all the elements for this group, and I'm going to use this photo here for my main image. You'll notice the cropping square. This allows you to stretch and crop your image to the proper size to fit the homepage template, and then save that selection. Next, I'm going to add some additional content to that homepage. Clicking the Add New Content button allows me to add blocks of content that include a title, subtitle, paragraph text, and an image. We'll give this the title of Matt and Amy Get Married. And the subtitle will be We're Heading to Cabo. I actually didn't prepare any content for this, so I'm going to go back to the sample site and see what ideas Classic might be recommending. In fact, I'm going to just copy this content and go back to my editing page and paste it in. You'll notice this box is a little small and hard to read. You can grab the little arrow here in the corner, drag the box bigger so you can read everything that you've just pasted in here, and then just simply customize it for your own group and your own website. So in this case, instead of Costa Rica, I'm going to say Mexico, and I could customize the dates and the name and the deposit. I'll also choose an image. I've saved a few things in that folder. I'll choose this couple picture. Again, I'm going to use the cropping tool to make sure that the photo is the right size for the website template, and then save. You can now see I've got one content block on the home page. Let's go ahead and add another block. I'm going to refer back to that sample site for ideas and copy and paste the content. You can continue adding content blocks to fill out the page, and you can also use the little arrows to reorder the content blocks if you'd like to. If you need to re-edit and go back, just simply click the pencil icon. Now that we've got some content on the page, let's take a quick look and see how the site is turning out. I can click Preview Website. And now I can see I've got that hot pink color that I selected, the name of the group, the date of the trip. I might want to go back and edit this. Maybe change it to something like Amy and Matt Get Married. There's our first content block, and here's the second content block. You'll also notice that my private label business card is complete at the bottom. This is how guests for this group will know who you are and can find out more about your business. If I hop over here to the Wedding Events tab, I can see that I need to start adding some content here as well. So let's go back and edit this site and come right here to the events page. This should look pretty familiar. It's very similar to adding content blocks to your homepage. It looks like there's one block here. Let's go ahead and edit and add in, maybe we're going to have a cocktail hour before the wedding. You can add a time, you can put the date, and the location if you know. Maybe this is in the hotel lobby. And then save it. And then let's go ahead and add another content block because this is a wedding test. Let's do wedding ceremony. And this one we're going to say is on the beach. And then save that. Okay, let's save our events and continue editing. Moving on to the About page. This is where you can tell your guests a little bit about you. You could tell them more about the trip. It might be helpful to take a sneak peek at that sample site again. If you look at the About page, you can see some ideas that we've suggested. You might want to share passport requirements, COVID protocols, and you can also take the opportunity to share a little bit more about you and your business. So back over here on editing the About page, we're going to use that same technique of adding content blocks. And the first one, this might be passport requirements. And then again, reminding them where we're going, heading to Mexico. And then have your content ready to go. You can paste it right in here. I'm going to also add an image. I saved a passport image that I wanted to use. Let's grab this one. And I'll use that cropping tool to really center this. And great, I've got one content block. You can continue to add content blocks, just like you see here on the sample site. It looks nice and full when the page has 2 to 3 blocks of content. While I'm here, I'm also not very happy with this pink color that I've selected. It doesn't match well with that main image. So let's go ahead and change this to a sunshine orange. See how that looks. Now when I preview the site, I've got this hot orange banner next to my image. I can see my content blocks. I can pop over to wedding events and I can see the details about the cocktail hour and the wedding ceremony. And I've got that one little bit of content about passports here on the About page. The last thing I need to do to complete the content is create a message to guests that will appear here on the contact page. So when guests need to send you a message, they can use this form to send you an email or ask questions about the trip. And right here on the contact page, it might just be something like, we're so excited you're joining us. Call me if you have any questions. Let's save it. Great. Now we've completed the site settings. We've completed everything in the content and images. We are ready to move on to the booking engine. The booking engine is a feature that will allow guests of the group to book directly into the group block. You can choose if you'd like to use this feature or not. In order to turn it on, you have some required fields. You must enter a minimum deposit. This is a per room deposit. I've got $10 in here. You must enter a final payment due date. This should be based on the attrition schedule for your contract with Classic. And finally, most importantly, you must add your terms and conditions. As I've mentioned, we've created some suggested terms and conditions that you can use. You'll find them here when you come to edit. You'll also find them back on that sample site where you can simply grab the terms and conditions, paste it right in here on your site, and then edit the specifics to match your rules, your cancellations for your group. Once you've completed the minimum deposit, the final payment, and the terms and conditions, you're able to flip the switch and enable your booking engine. You can also add an agency planning fee to this booking if you'd like to. And if you're within the proper time frame and you would like to use flights, you can also turn the flights engine on for your booking engine. But let's take another quick peek at our preview to see how the booking engine appears on this website. I've enabled that switch, and so now I can see book this trip. This allows the guests to see the hotel. They could click here for more information, and they can put in their dates, which are set by the dates of the group contract, and the number of rooms they'd like to book.
Here you'll see the terms and conditions that you've just input. This will show on every single page of the booking flow all the way through. It's extremely clear what you require to book into this group, and there should be no doubts for the guest as to what they're paying for and what those policies are. Okay, great. Now that the booking engine is complete, let's take a look at one last thing. This is the business card. As I mentioned, this is how you show up on every single page of the custom group website. For the guests of this group, it's your opportunity to tell them a little bit about yourself, to advertise your business, and also make sure they understand who to contact if they need help with this booking. If you haven't already created your private label with Classic, this will appear blank and you will need to click Update Info. You can go to the private label where you'll be able to update and edit your profile image, your display name, your agency name. You can decide if you want to show your phone number or your email address. And then, of course, don't forget to upload your agency logo. When it all comes together on the custom group website, your logo will appear right here at the top, and everything about you will appear here at the bottom on every single page. That's it, you're done. I know this tutorial was a little lengthy, but I hope I've given you enough information to get started with your very own custom group website. Finally, when you're all done and you're ready to share with clients and invite people to visit the site, you can copy this URL and share the invitation code with all the guests of this group. If you have any more questions, you'll find this tutorial, the sample website, and our email address right here on the dashboard. Have fun!